June announced that she and Bonnie were hitting the town and taking June's puppy. Mindy was like, okay, you bitches gone, but leave the goddamn puppy here. The frick do you need to take a puppy on the town with you for to smoke crack? What you gonna do, sell the puppy's ass? Our managers, Jason Winters and Eric Sterling, contacted Bob Timmons, an addictions specialist and recovery coach who later became well known through his association with Dr. Drew Pinsky on VH1's Celebrity Rehab. Bob gave us the rundown on what to say, how June might react, how to respond, and what we should be prepared to do if June didn't agree to enter rehab. We all showed up at June's place unannounced. She didn't answer her phone, and when she didn't respond to our loud knocking on her door, we grew afraid that she might have overdosed or even be dead. We finally called security to get inside her place. We didn't really know what to expect, but what we found inside June's house blew our minds. Her once beautiful home looked like a ghetto drug den. Dirty clothes, boxes of stuff, and fast food wrappers littered on the floor. And unwashed dishes were piled up in the sink. She was living in squalor. We found June in her bed, surrounded by all of her pills, powders, and drug paraphernalia. The funny thing was that she didn't even raise an eyebrow when we walked through the door. As Bob had instructed, we each took turns speaking our piece, telling June she had to do something right now about her problem and telling her how much we loved her. Initially, she reacted with anger, but then June started to cry and seemed remorseful. But she got her back up when we demanded that she go directly to a rehab facility. June said she would find her help on her own, but she wasn't going to enter any facility and we couldn't make her. We hugged her and departed in tears. That was a very hard day. Yeah, that pretty much went how that show Intervention be going. Okay, either you're going to do it like right now or nothing at all. And I'm telling you, them people be like, oh, I forgot to go buy a pack of now laters at the corner store. Oh, the dog needs his shots today. I ain't in the mood to get clean and sober. You in the throes of addiction, man, that thing be so controlling. You hear me? I don't have no qualms about nobody that is fighting that monkey on their back. You know, having somebody that you love and you love them more than they love themselves, and they love the drug more than they love you, that's the shit that hurts. I forgot what I was watching. I don't know what the name of the show was, but I remember seeing Mackenzie Phillips talking about her addiction and how much she loves Mackenzie Phillips one day at a time. Her parents are, I think it's Wilson Phillips or something like that, the Carpenters, some stuff like that, okay? Her father was shooting her up with coke at like 13 years old. She was talking about how she loved her children. Mackenzie Phillips was talking about how she loved being a mother. And when she looked at her children, she got a sense of satisfaction. But she also said, I love you, children, but goddamn it, I got to shoot this coke. That was the realest shit I ever heard. And I will always love Mackenzie Phillips for that, okay? Addiction, man, it could be all kinds of things. It doesn't necessarily have to be a drug. Coddling June would get her and us nowhere. So Anita and I had to take measures to safeguard ourselves. It had been several years since we had a recording contract. And even though we still collected royalties, live performances were now our main source of income. We had family to feed and support. and the Pointer Sisters could be on the brink of extinction if we didn't do something drastic. Our boiling point with June came when our management firm, Sterling Winters Co., was approached by producers of Night of the Proms, the largest annual organized indoor event in Europe. It's a series of concerts in Belgium, the Netherlands, Germany, Luxembourg, Denmark, and Poland. It also tours regularly in France, Spain, Australia, and Sweden. The concerts feature a mixture of pop artists backed by a 76-piece classical orchestra and a 52-voice choir. We're talking about a first-class, high-profile concert series that played in large venues of up to 30,000 seats. It would be a 3-month commitment that paid extremely well and afforded a golden opportunity to put the Pointer Sisters front and center on the world stage. Yeah, we wanted in on some of that real bad. The producers flew the Pointer Sisters first class to Belgium and put us up in a nice hotel. The first sign of trouble came when June insisted that they include Bonnie so she could have a free trip to Europe. That motherfucking Bonnie. Now, I ain't never called a woman a serpent, a devil, Diablo, none of that. But this bitch right here beats Clive Davis. Now, Pointer Sisters, I'm sorry that I'm talking about your sisters and your aunties and all that other stuff, but this bitch is terrible. They graciously went for it, but Anita and I were biting our fingernails down to the nubs by the time our plane landed. We had all agreed to meet in the hotel lobby at noon on the day of the meeting. Anita and I showed up on time, dressed to the nines. June wasn't there. We called her room several times, getting no answer. When we'd last seen June the night before, she was getting ready to hit the town with Bonnie. Beelzebub, Bonnie. Beelzebub, Bonnie. At one club, Beelzebub rushed up on stage, grabbed the microphone out of the performer's hand, and slurred her way through the several numbers. With the meeting time fast approaching, Anita and I went up to June's room. She was still in bed, looking like she just run the Boston Marathon. We hoisted her out, but instead of cleaning herself up and at least looking the part of a Pointer Sister, she accompanied us to the meeting in the clothes she'd partied in and hadn't bothered to take off before she flopped into bed. She reeked of booze. One of June's last shows with the Pointer Sisters was on New Year's Eve, the dawn of the new millennium. She partied like it was 1999. We finally had to play our trump card with June and informed her that she would not be allowed to continue performing as a Pointer Sister. She would be welcome to return only if she was enrolled in a certified recovery program. Like most addicts, June tried to do it her way. She went to seek drug counseling through a questionable character who ran a shady drug treatment center in Los Angeles. This facility was small, unassuming, and not very impressive. The drug counselor and an associate who passed himself off as a doctor virtually kidnapped June and stashed her in a small house in Beverly Hills. The only concession they made was to allow June to bring her chocolate lab, Kennedy. The rehab facility was a dump. Even though the house had a Beverly Hills address, the roof leaked and it was sparsely furnished inside. There was no on-site medical staff to monitor June and wean her off her medications. At the time, she was taking Xanax, Soma, and Klonopin to treat her anxiety and panic attacks. In addition to her crack addiction, she was drinking heavily and smoking marijuana. The drug counselor's solutions was for June to quit everything cold turkey. After a few days of that craziness, June covered up a bunch of pillows on her bed to make it look like she was sleeping, then hoisted Kennedy and herself through a bathroom window and walked the 7 miles to her home barefoot. While she was gone, the parasites had made off with everything that wasn't nailed down. Gold records, Grammy Awards, Tiffany lamps, personal documents, Pauls. I don't even understand how she still got all of this, to be quite honest with you. Like, I'm shocked. I thought that they cleaned out the goddamn house long ago in the book. Okay, so I am surprised that she still has these items. That provided Bonnie another opportunity to cash in with the National Enquirer. My baby sister June has been addicted to crack, cocaine, and sleeping pills for the last 2 years, she told the rag. Our entire family is worried sick that unless she cleans up, she'll die. June let anyone, including drug abusers, stay in her home. Of course, Bonnie neglected to tell the reporter that she herself had a raging crack habit and was one of the drug abusers taking advantage of June. Beelzebub. Didn't I tell you? Beelzebub. In May 2000, Mindy, I think Mindy is Ruth's old assistant, but friend of the family. In May 2000, Mindy paid $22,000 for June to check into Promises West LA. Now, I know I've seen Promises commercials on VH1. Like, those are the commercials, like when you're watching Intervention and Celebrity Drug Rehab, you see those Promises commercials. We spent the day with her, met her sponsor, and laughed, hugged, and cried. We were all sisters again. It was such a great feeling. June looked healthy, her spirits were high, and it was one of the best days we'd ever spent together. It was also the very first time we enjoyed each other's company as adults in a totally sober environment. If only it could have lasted. An addict's path is full of landmines, and avoiding them requires constant diligence, caution, and self-restraint. June's attitude was that she had done her time in rehab. Now, get off her back, because she was going to do as she pleased. Mindy stopped paying her mortgage. The bank eventually took the house back and foreclosed on the property, but took June into her lovely home in Santa Monica near the beach. Under Mindy's care, June was safe and scaled back her drug abuse. According to Mindy, June was making a real effort to get her life in order. It was Bonnie, Beelzebub Bonnie, showed up that everything changed. She called June with the news that she was homeless because Jeffrey Bowen had thrown her over for a younger woman, another singer for him to oppress and manipulate. In July 2014, after 10 years of separation, Bonnie finally filed for divorce from Jeffrey after 35 years of marriage. And to that, I say good riddance. Mindy knew that allowing Bonnie to come into her house was a bad idea, but she did it to please June. They repaid her kindness by trashing the place. In no time, June was back to her old ways. I don't know why addicts need company. I don't friggin' know why. It's like they can't go out there and wreak havoc on the world on their own. It's like they need a partner in crime to help them goop the world. Just in case I try to goop the world by myself, they may not like me. So everybody loves my sister June, so let me bring her along. Come on, June. We got a crack run to make. One night, she went out with a drug dealer. 24 hours later, she called Mindy at her work, crying hysterically. Mindy raced home and was horrified to discover the dealer had not only brutally raped June, but then demanded $200 from her when he dropped June off at the door. Mindy immediately took June to see her personal physician, Dr. David Kipper, who treated her for several weeks. Even Mindy's extraordinary patience had its limits. And they were finally reached the night June announced that she and Bonnie were hitting the town and taking June's puppy. Mindy was like, okay, you bitches gone, but leave the goddamn puppy here. The frick do you need to take a puppy on the town with you for to smoke crack? What you gonna do, sell the puppy's ass? What you think, your ass ain't no good to sell? So just in case the crack dealer don't want to, stick your ass, or your ass ain't good enough, you gonna give the crack dealer the puppy ass? Is that what you gonna do? Mindy said, answer no. June got in her feelings, jumped on top of the woman who had been taking care of her and scratched her eyeballs out. The force of June's blow broke Mindy's nose. Mindy could easily have defended herself, but instead she calmly set her own nose. From there, June went into total freefall, crashing with friends or sleeping in rundown motels or wherever there was a floor or a mattress. It was around this time when June started singing in public with Bonnie, which confused fans of the Pointer Sisters and infuriated Anita and me. Remember when the Temptations got together? And they were the lead singers of the Temptations. Remember when it was two Temptations touring on the road? It was two Pointer Sisters touring. It was Anita and Ruth and June and Beelzebub, Bonnie.